It's Wednesday, everybody, the Wednesday before Palm Sunday. So, what you and I have been preparing for, what you and I have been doing during Lent, is getting ready to celebrate Easter. So, the only thing between you and me and Easter is Palm Sunday and Holy Week. You and I are meant to participate in all of it. In participating, guess what we get to do? We get to experience Jesus's last days on earth and the implications for you and me as believers, as followers of Jesus Christ. So think about what Jesus did those last days. He arrives triumphantly in Jerusalem. That's what we celebrate on Sunday. We hear the story of Jesus coming in, riding on the colt of an ass. He is welcomed by the throngs of people that are there to celebrate Passover. They welcome him with palms, laying them down in a way to honor and worship and welcome Jesus into the holy city. So Jesus rides in triumphant and exalted by all around him. It isn't going to take very long for that to change. And so as Holy Week continues, it's only going to take 3 days for Jesus to be betrayed by one of his chosen 12 disciples, Judas Iscariot. Judas will sell him for 30 pieces of silver, the price of a slave. From that moment on Wednesday, Jesus is a marked man. He's a fugitive. He has to be careful where he goes, what he does, or he will not be able to complete what he's there to complete. And there is a plan that Jesus is finishing. So on Thursday, they celebrate the Passover. Jesus sends 2 of his trusted disciples to go and do preparations so that the 12 can celebrate that together. Jesus does the Passover with his disciples, and he gives us a new commandment. One of the things that we celebrate on Holy Thursday is what is called the mandatum. I'm not saying it well, it's a Latin word. And in essence, it's part of the opening antiphon in Latin would be this: mandatum novum do vobis. And literally that means, I give you a new commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. And so that is what Holy Thursday is. And what do we see at Holy Thursday? We celebrate the Mass of the Last Supper. We see the institution of the Eucharist. We see Jesus in the person of Father Bill, because you know that's what Father Bill does. In persona Christi, he will wash the feet of the disciples. He will do it symbolically, replicating what Jesus did with his disciples at the Last Supper. When all of that is finished, they will head out to the Garden of Gethsemane, where Jesus will wait to be betrayed by Judas. And in the agony of the garden, you and I, at the end of Holy Thursday Mass, will have the opportunity to adore Jesus in the Eucharist, because that's the way that we will end our Holy Thursday liturgy. Again, Holy Thursday, Good Friday, and the Vigil is one long service, one long celebration. So after we finish on Holy Thursday, Good Friday, we know what that is. We read another Passion account. So on Sunday, we hear the one from the Gospel of Matthew because we're in year A and we're hearing from Matthew these days. Good Friday is always from the Gospel of John. So on Friday, we will hear the Passion account again through the eyes of Saint John, the evangelist. And you and I will be given an opportunity to venerate the cross of Christ, to enter into that suffering, to be there to acknowledge the love and all that Jesus has done for us. That is what that is all about. As a church, we will have an opportunity to have Stations of the Cross in the afternoon at the time that Jesus died, traditionally. And so before Mass, you can do that. All of our Masses, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, are at 7 p.m. And then we will leave that evening in silence, knowing that the tomb is empty, that Jesus has died and has been laid in the tomb, and you and I will wait. Wait for Saturday evening. And then Saturday, the great Easter Vigil, when all of the Catholics to be around the world I'm not saying any of this well, that all of the people preparing to be Catholics will be coming into the church. And we have 18 people within Holy Trinity that will be doing that Saturday evening. All of you are invited to come and to be a part of that glorious celebration Saturday evening, 7 p.m. The vigil allows us to complete sacraments and to revel in the beauty of Christ's resurrection. It's the first glimpse that we get to the resurrection of Jesus, knowing that he indeed is risen. And then Easter Sunday, where we can continue to revel in what our Savior has won for us. Thanks be to God for what we celebrate. Thanks be to God for being Catholic, for what we believe. That's true for all of our Christian brothers and sisters, but especially for us. So these last days of Lent, squeeze the last bit of Lent out of you, out of yourselves. That's maybe a better way to say it. Whatever you've given up, keep giving. Whatever you're doing, do it deeply and anchor it all onto the cross of Christ. It is Christ who makes what you and I have done this Lent holy. It's not me. It is what Jesus has done for us that makes it so. So, my friends, don't miss it. In a church nearby, you can be a part of it. Come to Holy Trinity. See you this weekend at Mass. And next week. Thanks be to God. It's almost here. I can't find the button.